This is so-
Okay, everybody, welcome aboard. It's 12 noon, high noon in the ghost town with Rachel's
Yep.
Ghost and Blake McKenzie. Blake, you got to go about, what is it, 11:40 or so today?
12:40. Yeah.
12:40, 12:40. Yeah, where's the time go? Holy smokes. Anyway, Blake, it's so great to see you. So much going on. Today's title, Political Nooner, Trump keys Elon's Tesla. Okay, obviously not, but a lot of fun with that. Cheryl, how you doing? Hello, freedom fighters. Abso-frickin-lutely. Boy, oh boy. Listen, I'm all in on Donald John Trump. I supported him all the way from the beginning since he came down that escalator, the whole thing. I just, it's been a slow growing love affair that I have with this president. I think this Elon Musk thing, there's a lot of talk from the people that I listen to, people I respect, that are saying basically the world is being had in the biggest way. How else do you get Democrats to cheer for the release of the Epstein files when, if this is true in any way, shape, or form, there were people that wanted Trump. I will put some light on. Let there be light. Oh, my God. So, if there was any truth to this at all, wouldn't Biden's people have nailed him to the cross? They would have. They shot this guy once. They tried to shoot him twice that we know of. They've impeached him twice. They had the 51. Those agents. We had the special counsel with Mueller. We've had everything thrown at Trump. We've got Letitia James going. We got Fannie Willis. We got a cast of characters that look like Dick Tracy, gangster, rogues gallery of villains trying to take this guy down. Teflon down. So if these fuckers had anything, why make up Russian prostitutes urinating on the guy when you can get the real deal on Epstein's Island? The skipper to the millionaire and his wife. Okay. So I think yes, they will fill in. There are a whole bunch of people trying to take Trump down, right? So who is they? Deep state, enemies of the state, enemies of freedom. So if they had anything on him, they being the Democrats, right? They being the guys that wanted to kill him. Sometimes the two are the same. The Republican, the rhinos, wouldn't the rhinos or Comey, idiots like that, or Brennan, John Brennan, CNN contributor,
Clapper,
former, Mr. Clapper, former CIA directors, two of them. Holy smokes! And they hate Trump.
Throw in the former Vice President Mike Pence. He's all in on it. All those guys are part of it.
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah,
she's 80 miles off the coast of Greece. We hope she's okay. So I'm just saying, I think that you're all being played with a big spoof here. I mean, last week Elon's in there with the big keys to the city. Here's your kid, the White House coming to I love you. You are leaving. We have the 127-day moratorium. You got to go. These fuckers are trolling. And you know what? One of my favorites that Trump tweeted out, he goes, oh, and we all knew Elon was doing the Nazi salute. I mean, let's not kid her. This is Trump. They're both world famous trolls, right?
Well, there's a theory going around out there what this was all about. There was, I saw a meme that somebody had put out on X. It was pretty funny, and it showed Trump and Elon sitting next to each other, and Trump says, "Okay, tell them that I'm completely retarded." Like sitting there doing it together. But the theory is that could be very credible that this was a trap laid out to the Democrats specifically to get them on board on releasing the Epstein files. That's what I was reading. Like this made them all jump up and say, "Yeah, let's open up those files. If Trump's in there." So all of a sudden he's got them. Maybe it was a bait. They bought the bait. They took it. And now they're all preaching. Let's look.
Okay. Who's they? Some of them are doing it. The cult is employed? Not at all. Not at all, man. What it is it shakes the tree and it gets rid of any fake, false, sunny day weather Trump people. Diehards like myself, God bless Donald John Trump. He's as clean as the day is long. Sue, you got a link for us here. Let's take a look. What do we got? This is MJ Truth Ultra. Let's talk about this. So Elon Musk says Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, but he didn't say anything about it before today. So he's been working with and even campaigning for and helped get elected someone whom he knew was in the Epstein files. Come on, guys. You know exactly what's going on, where all this is leading. Come on. Go on. Say it. And time to draw the really way. Trump is in the Epstein files. So what's happening? You got people like Harry Sissons, a deputy director or a directory secretary of the DNC right now. I'm not exactly sure of his whole title, but you got Harry Sissons. You got Fang Falwell, whatever his name is, that idiot coming out, Eric. And so, Swalwell, did I say Falwell? Freudian slip. That's another piece of work. But anyway, the whole thing is you got, Fang, Miss, Eric Swalwell there. And he's going, we demand the release of the Epstein files. You got all these Dems calling for it. So along with my Democrat friends, I say, let's get the Epstein files frickin' released. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Holy fuck, the attorney representing 70 of Jeffrey Epstein's victims said Trump was the only one who helped him go after Epstein in 2009. Now, why would Trump help him if he was involved with Epstein? Share this. The media is ignoring it, so you know what to do. Yeah, the attorney representing 70 Epstein victims, that attorney said the only one who helped him go after Epstein was Donald Trump. And remember, Donald Trump actually banned. Do you want to play the clip, Sue, or do we just leave it there?
Don't play it. Just go to the next clip.
Donald Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago, correct? He is not on any Epstein list going to the island, correct? If he was, he would have been indicted for it. Everyone knows that, correct? So I think it's just a lot of smoke, a lot of mirrors to call out a lot of stuff. Rach, you sound a lot like Andy Devine.
Okay, I got
That's right. I sure do, Stephen.
And I got one more on this
Okay,
topic.
one more. Wait a minute. She's got one more.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Here we go. I want to thank Sue for helping us out. Always, she's off camera, but she brings the links in for us and makes my job a lot easier. I can deal with the great crowd we got watching the show. Vigilant Fox. New FBI director Kash Patel says there's no Epstein Island video showing elites committing crimes. And if there were, you would see it. I don't know about that. Joe Rogan asked the question millions have been screaming for years, is there video from the island? Kash's answer is blunt. No, not what you want. If I had it, I'd be the first guy to bring this case hard and fast. He claims they reviewed everything under lawful access. They've combed through the files. What they have, he says, is nothing, okay? Not the kind of bombshell the public has imagined. No smoking gun, no list, no footage of the world's powerful doing the unspeakable. And for those who suspect a cover-up, Kash insists he's not the one. I got here 100 days ago. I can't be held accountable for 20 years of failure. He says some tapes may never have existed. Others may have been destroyed. But if you're hoping the FBI has an ace up its sleeve, the message is clear. Don't hold your breath. So I'm not one to second guess Kash Patel. He's a guy I respect. I like this guy. So, I think, maybe there is nothing. Maybe it was all destroyed, whatever, And if that's the case, that's the case, And it's unfortunate because then, but here's my question. Okay, if this is the case, why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail if there's no evidence? I think, Blake.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting topic because there's news that's coming out that apparently there's been pressure put on Trump to find a way to pardon her. I mean, I think people are hoping she's going to do the tell-all. She's going to be the one that's going to expose everything that came out, but she's still alive. So for what reason, if they do believe that Epstein was murdered in his cell, well, she would also be a target. So you would have to make sure there's a battalion of people around her to protect her, to keep her alive. She's probably safer in jail if that's true. But it's an interesting story breaking with her. That they've been talking about finding a way to get her out of jail. But I think a lot of the video, apparently, because we heard Pam Bondi say it, there is countless hours of thousands of hours of video. She admitted that. She said there's hours of video, but it's more to do with Epstein having sex with minors. That's what she said specifically. She didn't say other people, but we know Prince Andrew got caught. I mean, that's a fact. But that was because there was an eyewitness, and the witness was the victim. And he had a relationship with this teenager for some time. So it wasn't like he was, one out with the drunk boys and was doing something stupid and didn't ask for her ID. This guy kept coming back and back and back. So, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, when you're in such a world that the world state as it is today, you just don't know what to believe anymore. It's like, just show the receipts, as Dan Bongino would say, show the evidence. But, there is some strange things going on. Like when you're reading body language and you're watching Bongino and Kash Patel talking about specifically this file, they really look like deer in headlights. I've never seen those two, because they're very confident people. But they very much were deer in headlights. Like, you watch their action. Kash Patel always looks like he's kind of deer in headlights, just the way he looks.
Well, he's got eyes. He's got a wild.
Yeah, exactly. But Bongino, he speaks confidently. That's the kind of guy he is. He didn't look confident. He was kind of like, either he was like, well, I'm kind of letting down my old listeners, or I'm not comfortable with this answer. So. And he likes to talk about, he doesn't want to be the guy, he'll tell the truth. But one thing we forgot to mention, and I guess we should have said right off the top, is it's D-Day today, anniversary. So we want to give all the kudos to all the people that fought for our freedom.
44.
June the 6th.
Juno, Gold, Sword, the Beaches coming in there. Boy, did Private Ryan ever do a great job on that. Got it. Props are due. With the landing craft, the LSTs come in, and the doors go down. It just opens up hell on earth. Unbelievable. And the Greatest Generation. My uncle died in World War II in the liberation of Holland, died April 14th, 1945. So a couple of weeks shy of the whole thing being over. Unfortunately, a young guy in his 20s, cut down by German 88 millimeter cannon fire, which was a horrific artillery weapon. But he was a dispatch writer, and they wanted to get those guys because they were bringing messages back and forth. But anyway, big salute to all the veterans and to those that gave their lives and that were wounded. Scotty from Star Trek lost a finger, I think part of a finger, on D-Day. He was there, and it was wounded multiple times, what I understand, during that assault. So God bless them all. Yeah. Okay, let's talk to one of our liberal heroes. Hey, remember when Rachel said the big beautiful bill was whipped by rhinos? Is Orange Diddler a rhino now? No. We love the big beautiful bill, but what happens? Trump writes a bill. He comes in, he says, this is what I want, this is what I do, and I want it passed. And then you get all these Congress people going in all over it, and then they start dissecting, add this, take this out, and the pork starts enlarging it so that by the time it arrives on your table ready to serve, it's nothing like what it was originally intended to be. Having said that, it still includes the biggest cuts for Americans in history. So I would say sign it despite there's problematic entries within it. I think we all recognize that. And Musk is right to call those out. I mean, those parts that aren't there. But Trump didn't put those in. That's put in by, your Lindsey Graham's, Mr. I'm going to make 411,000 or whatever while I go over to spend a couple of days in the Ukraine on the eve of our biggest attack on open airfields. I mean, what a joke. Yeah. Okay, so that's my take on that, Herc. The pork, look to Congress for the pork, look to the Senate for the pork, look to those long timers in there. Blake, your thoughts on the big beautiful bill?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of good things in it, and there's a lot of bad, as you said. But there's some things I do believe that should be challenged. I do believe the AI Protectionist Act, that part of it in there that basically leaves within the big beautiful bill, I'm not sure who sponsored this in there, but one of the establishment I'm sure did. The globalists that are within the congressional halls of
Yeah.
Washington have put in an AI protectionist legislation that essentially states that AI has to be left alone, much like the big pharma companies did during the period we shall not name. Gave them is giving them carte blanche to be able to do whatever they want without any oversight, and it would be under federal control, which has, of course, created um, the idea of, well, the state should have a right to oversight on that as well, and it locks everybody out. So they can do whatever they want for 10 years without, it could be anything, medical AI devices, anything. Like it's a it's an act that needs that portion of the language needs to be changed, and there's no doubt about it. That's a danger because AI is going to affect everybody, and they need to be able to have their finger on it at the very local level, from your municipalities, counties, states. And that's something. But there's the good stuff in it. Like the Golden Dome is a good thing. We need to reinvest in military for protection of our borders and protection of North America. And that's Canada. You too. You're responsible for that as well. Everybody has to pitch in, and we need to build that to protect us. If anybody is shown, well, look what's going on in Ukraine today and last night, and missiles flying everywhere. If that's what you want, you don't want to have protection, expect that could happen at any time.
There is a channel called Military Summary Channel on YouTube. I'll pull this guy up for the kids. I watch this guy a lot, military, because he takes film from the Russian and from the Ukraine sources in order to put things together. Military Summary Channel. Hang on, and I'll just drop the link in it for it. And this is a great channel. Russia strikes back, powerful blow across all of Ukraine. And Russia is continuing to advance all along the Donbass region, all along the border, the eastern thing. So there's no end in sight to it. It just, Russia keeps grinding. But when you look at the map, it's just turning red on that. You know, they use blue for the Ukraine, red for the Russian. And the big bear is just clawing its way through more increasing territory. And it seems insurmountable. They were launching, the numbers were given. If you watch the latest episode on this channel, they give the actual number within the Russian administration and also Ukrainian sources saying we shot down this percentage of drones. There's like 400 drones. 200 of those drones were shot down, about half of them. And then they get that. The powerful comment, Trump has yet to host any drag queens at the White House. Yeah, good point, Dave. I mean, why bother? I'll just leave this up a little bit. Why bother? This is the identity politics saying, all the rest of it, Pride Month, all this. Because USA took a hit, a lot of the Pride events, we're hearing reports, even in Canada. One of them, Lisa Chow, the mayor of Toronto, was angry with the Home Depot. Home Depot had pulled its sponsorship. So we're seeing a lot of the money that was filtering into various cracks and corners. Evil grows in the dark and lives in people's minds. We're seeing all that, and it's being pulled back from USAID, cut off. Thank you, Elon. And because that's been cut, we're seeing a lot of this identity politics stuff going. By the way, is the battle over? No. Is it still coming along? No, we don't know.
There's just some video from Kiev. Okay,
and we do have some video. I mean, yeah, it's this. I always worry about showing stuff like this on the YouTube, but basically, the rockets, red glare, bombs bursting on air, power thermal plant, paid AD defensing. It was calibrated. Says they're advised to flee the city as Russia will strike every administration, military infrastructure, Ukraine. So you can just drop that link for the kids. They can watch it.
And as you said, it's always a concern with those videos because the AI video is so powerful now. It can look so real. You got to be very careful what you're watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. What is this? Orange is Team Ukraine now. Orange Diddy is Team Ukraine now? I don't believe so. I've never seen that being the case, Herc, so I don't know where you're getting that. You have to drop a source, sorry, but I'm not seeing that. Breakfast Cake of Loyal, Paul, can I come on shows around? Do it on my other TV show. I got another show, folks. You like rock and roll, you like music, so drop a link for the kid there. These poor lovesick kids, they got to have a means of dropping their videos and talking about records and stuff, but there's a link on that one. Chuck goes, I'm not a big, now Chuck is MAGA. I'm not a huge fan of the big bill either. I don't understand why they have to cram everything into one bill. How about vote line by line? This is why the whole thing is problematic, right?
Especially when they shut these things down, and that's what ends up happening is then they blame the government shutdowns on the Republicans, right? That's part of the tactic, right? If they can delay it, they do it. But sadly, you're right, as earlier before, and even Steve Bannon talked about it today, and he was saying this stuff has to go through. Even if you want to get anything done, you got to just push some of the crap through with the good. And
hey,
but
Kurt,
then you make your changes later.
Try and keep up, motherfucker. That's because you get news on Twitter. Twitter's status called the X platform. Thanks for playing. Holy fuck. How long do I have to suffer, you morons? So anyway, I just disregard all that. There's no way that Putin is cooked. As a matter of fact, that attack was strategic. It was fear and awe, shock and awe coming from that side in a row. So pretty impressive. Chuck, there's 6 wins in a row. Holy smokes, 6 wins in a row. Thank you, Marty, for providing the score count.
Is that for the Edmonton Oilers and the Stanley Cup?
Good Lord. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Rome burns, Ottawa burns, or in this case, Manitoba burns. And everybody's fiddling with the Oilers, right? It's
exactly.
Bread and circuses, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We got some other stories to cover getting in here. Let's take a look at our job growth in British Columbia, or in Canada. Actually, it's Canadian job growth. So that's what I put in there. No job growth. What? No job growth?
Actually, job loss.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to look at that. Okay, Sue, you're already on it. Holy smoke, she's good. So we'll put her here, and we go here. Help wanted. I love that. Help wanted. Unemployment ticks up slightly in May to 7%. Virtually no job growth since January. This is from one of our legacy media outlets, Global, the aptly named Global News Canada. What do you got on this, Blake?
Yeah, I just putting a link in there too, Ed, because I'm actually showing from our opposition media, essentially opposition in the sense that this is a legacy media, Toronto Star.
Yeah.
So if it's coming from them, it's a lot worse than what it is, because those guys are the biggest propagandist machine for the Liberal Party and the far left in Canada that there is. They work for the globalist media network. But yeah. So Ryan Williams covers that. So we went from 817,000 to now 880,000 just a few weeks later. Only 8,800 jobs created. Now that's created. They're not telling you the numbers have actually lost. Mm-hmm. That's not net. That's just job created. So our unemployment rate has hit 7%. But when you actually look at the report, it's far worse, because in some of the largest cities in Canada, that employment rate is hitting 9%. And on Southern Ontario, they're being hammered 8, 9. They're probably going to break 10%. Like, this is 1970s Carter era level unemployment rate. And of course, we know what happened there. Interest rates skyrocketed. People were paying up to 20% on their homes. So that's the catastrophe that's happening in Canada. Canada looks like the Titanic right now. It is a country that is sinking, and it's an hour and a half watch. It's not like the Lusitania went down in 15 minutes. We're watching that ship going down section by section.
We're watching the Leo DiCaprio version where it's so fantastically slow moving. Eventually the boat sinks.
And we could see Rachel at the front going, "I'm sailing."
Hey, did you see the Greta Thunberg with the Palestinian, the Hamas guy with the green kerchief and the black balaclava kind of thing? Funny freaking picture.
Oh,
that
dude.
went out there with her. Okay, we got another.
This is why because people like this are governing our country.
Well,
Okay,
because they don't matter. That's the point. That's the point. When you're in receivership, the peons are meaningless. They're just placeholders.
okay. It says here we have a cabinet minister who does not know what an RPA.
Does the minister know what an RPAL is?
No, Minister.
I do not.
Member.
Does the minister know what the CFSC is?
I'm a minister.
I do not. No.
Member.
I'll stipulate, Chair, that is the Canadian firearm safety course that all gun owners in Canada have to do to get their firearms license. Has the minister ever done the Canadian firearm safety course?
The Honourable Minister.
Speaker, it's my 3rd week on the job. No, I have not.
The Honourable Member.
Does the minister know what safety classes and safety demands are expected of law-abiding Canadian gun owners?
The Honourable Minister.
This is not about law-abiding gun owners, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member.
How can the minister make that claim when he doesn't know the basic fundamentals of law-abiding gun ownership in this country, Chair? Chair, does the minister know what an RPAL is?
All right. So we got the minister in charge of what, firearm
Security
safety
and safety.
Security and safety. It doesn't know the basics of firearm requirements to own a gun and operate a firearm in Canada. Is this what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and it's just a classic case where what's happened now is Carney's just his real team you don't see, right?
Yeah.
He's got his own team working on
everything
from trade, the bankers. So these are peons. These guys are idiots. They're just thrown up front there because you know what? They passed a law and challenged and won and said, you now have to produce a budget. What does Carney say? No, I don't. Bye.
Yeah, but in fairness, come on, Blake, in fairness to the honorable member, I love the way they do it. And in fairness to the honorable member, I mean, I think he's only been in the country a couple of weeks.
Well, he's been in the seat, he said, for 3 weeks as a cabinet minister.
Wow.
But just so all of those non-Canadians understand, a lot of these cabinet posts are nothing more than patronage positions to give them extra pay, keeps them happy. They're useless twits. If you've ever watched the English Yes Minister, that's exactly how these guys operate. They are buffoon idiots. They sit there, they got elected, they count as a seat. The prime minister has all the power. These guys just sit there and just act like they're doing something, but it's the deputy ministers and ADMs and all the peons under now to do all the work. So
and so an ADM is what, assistant deputy minister. They're the guys. They're kind of like the NCOs in government. They have a lot of the power. They organize things. They're linchpins. The actual minister could be out golfing.
They don't do anything. They show up and smile.
But the ADM's actually in there. And I remember I actually wrote a letter. I did a government job years ago, and I was hired on a work program. Blake, you know this. And I wrote a letter. I was writing a letter on behalf of the Canadian government. I was writing a letter on behalf of the Minister of Skills, Training, Labor to the head of the BC Film Commission. I actually wrote a letter to this guy in response because he was fishing for some money from the government, the BC Film Commission, British Columbia. And I wrote this thing. It took me 2 months to write the letter, or 2 weeks, 2 weeks. And I go, normally, I mean, I already, by this time I had a bachelor degree. I was in university. I'd written a lot, I'd done different things. And, but it was a whole different way of communicating for the government. By the end of the 2-week period, by the time it was finally finished in a way that was acceptable to my supervisor, that letter said absolutely sweet fuck all. 2 weeks crafting this carefully, skillfully put together response to the BC Film Commission to basically assure them that the government is non-committal in every inch and degree to anything you may ever wish or want to ever have. And it was unbelievable that's the way it worked.
Basically, you write a letter of a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
But if you listen to like the Canadian immigration minister, she's just as bad. She was just fumbling around, making stuff up. I mean, it was terrifying, saying these people are supposed to have power, but really the inner sanctum around Carney is not cabinet ministers. There's a couple of them, I'm sure, there. but it's his group of I would say his appointed deputies that work with him closely. And what's interesting, listen to Carney's language now. He's saying we are now embarking on a decades long economic plan for Canada that's been in the works. Decades. Now people are saying, well, he's referring to interprovincial trade barriers being brought down, but I think he has double meanings in everything he says. You got to really watch what he says. But we know decades long they've been working on the Great Reset. They've been talking about a 2030 agenda. All that's been on the books, and he's been one of those guys pushing for that. So I do still hope that Trump's got him as one of his guys now secretly, but we'll see. But
obviously Canada has to deal, because as you said, Canada is a sinking ship right now. There's zero job growth. We've got massive unfettered immigration that's coming in with no place to house them, no jobs for them.
Yeah,
something's got to give.
Well, the entire social safety net's collapsing.
Life.
Yeah.
Something. We can't go on like this.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. That's the problem. You don't start swamping the country when you're.
I have lived a good life.
Yeah.
The world cannot sustain. Canada cannot sustain me. I have lived a good life. It's all over for us, man.
It is.
Oh my
Elbows
God.
up. Elbows up.
We'll get Jane Goodall on the job. What a clip that was yesterday.
That was horrible.
Jane Goodall.
So
Talk
creepy.
about psychopathic. I mean, and the woman was claiming, she wants to see the the population decrease, and she's literally saying this wasn't AI. This is the actual Gorillas in the Mist lady doing her thing, Jane Goodall. And these are the kind of people that were just championed. During the 70s and the 80s, environmentalists, the heroes of the environment, saving the little gorillas. They're almost human-like with their gorilla ways.
Well, it's funny how calm the psychopaths can sound and rational.
Yeah,
that's what's terrifying.
Yeah, she goes, "We'll kill it. People got to die, but we'll do it as painlessly as possible."
But not me, she'll say. I need to stay around.
Yeah, well, that was the implication. Is she didn't say us? She said you. She used you. It's us and them. Yeah, she just said it's not me. It's you people that are the problem. We got to get rid of you.
Yeah. Maybe Ted Turner's banging her in the back or something.
I had heard, allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's our word on the show. One of the things I'd heard too is Bill Gates is his father was, Bill Gates, the computer guy, but his dad was actually a eugenicist. He was working on all sorts of eugenics programs. It was really heavy duty into all that. So I think kind of crazy. That what do they call that? The branch doesn't fall too far from the tree. Yeah.
Yeah. The apple.
Yeah. Okay. What else we got here, Sue, for our show today to munch? We got 10 minutes more of Blake, and we're happy to have Blake. Anything you want to chew out? There's a lot of content in here.
Oh yeah, just keep it rolling. I mean, I before I go though, I think everybody's eyes are on the Trump Elon world, which is interesting. The world's on the precipice of World War III, and we're worried about Trump and Elon having a spat on X. I mean, talk about, and I'm just saying, is the world really concerned that we are in a state where we could be in mass extinction level war, and nobody seems to care? It's like the rest of the world's like, I saw a tweet today. I saw a tweet today, and I was just I think you follow him as well. I think it's Slepinski. He's a guy in Canada, and he goes, Poilievre's got a master plan to unseat Carney and become government within the year. And I'm thinking, the war in the Ukraine, potential war in Pakistan, India, all nuclear capable, including Israel and Iran. Chaos is coming in the world, and they're thinking about something so selfishly. Like right now, the world should be concerned about not killing ourselves off.
Yeah.
Number one, Project One, end the fucking wars.
People saying that the world needs a decrease in population doesn't mean they want to unalive people. You're very stable genius. You're so easily manipulated. No, it means exactly that. It's as frightening as it is. That we've played this video, and I'll grab this one because why the hell not? This is from the
It dehumanizes people, like they can be just taken out.
Yeah.
That the language just turns you into nothing more than instead of carbon, a useless eater, as we heard from Bill Gates.
Okay, Herc, for your edification, you tell me, motherfucker, what you think this means. Okay, here we go. This is from Agenda 21. They go Agenda 21, Agenda 30, etc. Here we go.
The Earth just cannot handle the sheer number of humans who live here. Something has to give. And I believe that it's up to us who have lived a good life to make sure that our children will have the opportunity to live good lives too. I have lived a good life.
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 So why are they saying I have lived a good life? What are they supposed to? I guess the old folks are just supposed to chip in and is that what the deal is?
Here she is talking. If you want that.
Oh, okay, hold on. And then we got Jane Goodall. Blake, are you hearing me?
You cut out there for a second.
Oh, okay. All right, we're back here. All right, here's Jane Goodall. And could you play the clip, Sue? Make her big.
We cannot hide away from human population growth because, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago. We cannot hide away from human population growth because, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
Okay, that's not the clip, though. The great clip she said yesterday, basically, we'll make sure that it's a painless death for you.
Yeah, that's gross.
I mean, that thing, and that's literally what she's saying. But when you've lived a good life, I mean, what is the implication there? The implication is there to sacrifice humanity on the altar of the planet, on the altar of environmentalism, that the worship of the planter, becoming vain in your imagination, worshiping the creation more than the creator.
Romans chapter 1.
That is the great sin of our time, the great sin of our age. And Greta Thunberg and the false prophets are out there ringing and offering the burnt offerings at the feet of environmentalism. And so for the sake of the planet, it provides them moral justification to supersede the autonomy and the sacredness of the human being and subjecting it to the planet.
I got it.
Okay, listen, here she is in action. Make her big, Sue. Give her everything.
A few things. If I just have this magic power, I would like to, without causing any pain or suffering, reduce the number of people on the planet because there's too many of us. It's a planet of finite resources and we're using them up. But what I really, really, really would love to change is the unsustainable lifestyle of everybody else. We're just greedy.
Okay, so it's everybody else, the unsustainable lifestyle of everybody else. Blake, are you okay there? Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I actually got a video link I'd like you guys to play before I run.
Okay,
it's exactly where this is all originating from. She sounds exactly like George Bernard Shaw, he's one of the early eugenicists from the early 20th century.
Yeah, he's a legend.
And anyways, here's a little 1-minute clip. I just put it in the private chat right now. Let's have a listen to this.
All right.
It's a YouTube link, so I think you guys can play that.
Yeah.
But
it's just crazy, man.
But it sounds verbatim. This is where they're getting their language from. It's very early. Yeah, listen to what he says here.
Okay, Jerry, this is Pygmalion. Remember Pygmalion, My Fair Lady? You know, it's Audrey Hepburn. Every woman wanted to be her. Every man wants her. Okay.
I never know exactly how to make my opinion clear because I object to all punishment whatsoever. I don't want to punish anybody. But there are an extraordinary number of people whom I want to kill. Not in any unkind or personal spirit, but it must be evident to all of you. You must all know half a dozen people at least who are no use in this world, who are more trouble than they are worth. And I think it would be a good thing to make everybody come before a properly appointed board, just as he might come before the income tax commissioners, and say every 5 years or every 7 years, just put him there and say, sir or madam, now will you be kind enough to justify your existence? If you can't justify your existence, if you're not pulling your weight in the social boat, if you're not producing as much as you consume, or perhaps a little more, then clearly we cannot use the big organization of our society for the purpose of keeping you alive, because your life does not benefit us and it can't be of very much use to you.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, this is the kind of rhetoric again. And of course, now what they've provided as a rationale for the depopulation is that it's got to be those beautiful streams like Blake's got in behind him, and Nanaimo River.
I like how she doesn't say like change the birth rates, which are already changing drastically.
Well, we're not reproducing.
People
in the
aren't
West.
reproducing, but she says reduce the population that's like here already. Like
sounds like Ebenezer Scrooge, right? Right. I mean, that's the comment, like to decrease the surplus population.
Yeah.
Or is there not enough prisons?
And the workhouses.
The workhouses.
They're still in full vigor, I presume.
That's right.
Yes, I thought something had stopped them from fulfilling their useful course.
Yeah. So that whole idea has been around for a long time, and that's when populations were considerably less. It's crazy. Anyway, I have to run, guys.
All right,
Thanks
Blake,
for having me. You want to keep on with the show? I got to get these old little eyes tested here in 20 minutes.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is our Friday show. We'll be back on. I'll stick around for a little bit, but our next show with Blake is going to be on Monday. We get you Monday, I hope, Blake.
Yep. We'll see you then.
All
Have a great weekend, all.
Blake McKenzie, everybody. Thank you, Blake.
Bye-bye.
For being there. All right, folks. Porch Pineapple, I just love this stuff. I heard a report that DTPUA, the PUA, drinks bleach. Unfortunately, I don't think it's true. Oh, wow. But anyway, so the whole idea with this, and I just want to say thanks again to Blake, my co-host here on this thing. It's a team project. I couldn't do this thing without him, and I think the show's better for him. But I'm going to write it out today. I just want to say this is not jumping to wrong conclusions about what these people are actually saying. They want to decrease the population. The idea in a future, we've already got in Canada a thing called MAID. Have you heard about this? Medically assisted,
dying, basically.
Yeah, basically government taking you out. And some of the statistics on this thing have been just off the chart. MAID deaths. Let's just go MAID deaths. I didn't anticipate doing this one, but in 2023, there were 15,343 medically assisted deaths made in Canada, accounting for 4.7% of total deaths in Canada. So almost 5% of the people that died in Canada were medically assisted. 5% doesn't sound like a lot, but it, to think about it. And again, the idea is that it's a desensitization process. I believe it's frogs in water. So, what it does is initially it's like, oh, grandma's had a good life, but she's laboring a bit. And it would be so humane and merciful to let grandma go out, quote, and they have a whole language for this, go out on grandma's terms. She went out a hero on grandma's terms. It was beautiful. The light was in the room and we were all there crying. And so that's great. But eventually, that autonomy for you to sign out and beg off on your own passes on to the government. Sue, can you grab a link of that young soldier? Just go, Canadian soldier government offers death instead of getting a ramp. This woman was left paraplegic, debilitated. She was looking for a ramp access to her little trailer. The government didn't want to provide that, but they said, we can offer you medically assisted, check out anytime you want. Not in 23. 50th medical.
Okay, check that out then.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Do you not think people should have? I think people should have autonomy over their body. What I think ultimately happens, Herc, is the government takes that authority and that decision from you because we get so used to seeing it in operation that we're desensitized to it. And then next thing you know, the government's do it. There are reports into allegations of inappropriate conversations with veterans about medical assistance in dying. That's the MAID, MAID, right? Medical assistance in dying. So it's a death machine. It's a death cult. They what are they? They launder in that.
Check this guy out.
Here's a link here. Veterans, inappropriate conversations. Yeah. So check that. Read that on your own recognizance.
Here's a fun guy.
Okay, here's a guy talking about it. Let's see what he has to say. Okay. Do you want to read the preamble or should we just go into the guy?
Just read the preamble.
Okay, preamble. Club of Rome's Dennis Meadows hopes the necessary reduction of Earth's population down to 1 billion people, an 87.6% reduction from today's population can, quote, occur in a civil way. The planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have 8 or 9 billion, but we have to have a very strong dictatorship then. So, I mean, this guy's just animal bonkers. Who is this character? He is Club of Rome, the Club of Rome. Remind me
not to join that club.
I don't want to be a member of that club. I gotta tell you, man.
Club of Rome.
I have no interest in joining that club. That sounds pretty messed up. Doilies? Did someone mention doilies? Dollies? Did someone mention dollies? Hello, Dolly. Another conclusion to jumping conclusions. A life of illusion.
Oh, okay. So this is
all right. What else
I'll
we
show
got?
you what this is.
Okay. Sue's working. I just want to say thanks, Sue, doing the heavy lifting. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we love to getting the thumbs up around here. It does help. It's a young channel starting out, early days. We haven't even been here a month yet.
Here's a
thumbs up help.
There's a Club of Rome.
And here's a quote on the Club of Rome. The Club of Rome is a nonprofit, international. Yeah, this is another nonprofit. And one of the worst things about nonprofits is, they're all about profit. But having said that, international organization, intellectuals, business leaders focus on critical discussion and analysis of global issues. Well, aren't they a fun bunch? 40, that's our good friend 40 out of Manchester, England. On the bright side, computer crashing every 10 minutes keeps me out of arguments. What an upside. There's an uptick to everything. You have lived a good life. Anyway, the point is that you've got these people with the idea, they're all espousing the idea of a humane way to put people down. But because the planet's not sustainable, right? Zero growth. Net zero, this kind of language, this kind of rhetoric, it's all designed around the idea of depopulate the planet because there's too many, and they actually come up in their think tanks. Think tanks, which is somewhat of an oxymoron when it comes to these people, but they want to do this thing, right? Yeah, and we can't even mention what Chuck mentions up there. Not on YouTube, not on this platform.
Check this. This is good.
All right, and Sue's helping me out. She's just feeding me, stoking me fires like logging the fire for a train to keep it going. The exact opposite of the real problem. The biggest problem facing humanity in coming decades is a population crash due to the plummeting fertility rate that's now a feature of not just Western countries, but most nations outside of sub-Saharan Africa. The elites are always wrong. Yeah, they are. And they're the ones pushing for it. But we do have a zero population growth in Canada by natural means. That's why the migration thing, our government's gone, oh, we got to have 100 million people. And of course, I remember Canada. I lived in Canada in 1967, which was like 9 years after I was born. We had the centennial. And in the centennial was a lyric that read, we are 20 million people. So Canada's population then, 20 million. We're up to like 43 million at the time of this broadcast. And I suspect there's probably more. They want Canada to be at 100 million by the end of this century. That's preposterous. We don't have the infrastructure, as Blake mentioned so succinctly earlier in the program. Canada is a slow sinking Titanic. The fix is in. The iceberg's been hit. I don't think there's any saving it. I think we're going to default on a lot of things. There's so many pressures coming on Canada from within, without, and not to mention the tariffs, which are having a tremendous impact for the Americans in a positive way. But in Canada, because we sold our souls, we sold all the means of our own production out. We farmed it all out. Now we're reaping, we sowed the wind, we're reaping the whirlwind on that. So, Sue, anything else that let's do Tamara Litch. I put her.
Oh, okay.
What do you got? Do you got one there, Tamara? Let's do Tamara. I like Tamara a lot. This, again, another example of the two-tier justice system in Western countries. The power of the state can penalize people and do basically whatever they will with you, independent of any laws notwithstanding, seemingly. Tamara Litch, she was the co-leader of the trucker convoy from a couple of years ago. There was all sorts of trouble with that because the government politicized it. So right now, Natasha Montreal writes in this little comment below, police arrest 36 men in an Ontario-wide sexual exploitation sting operation. All of them have been released. 36 guys, child sex exploitation, all released. Tamara Litch, okay, who never child kidnapped and child endangered anyone, no sexual exploitation charges for her. She was charged with criminal mischief. Criminal mischief. That's like drawing on the sidewalk with chalk on a public sidewalk. Yeah. That's basically what a mischief that is. Or jaywalking could be mischief. I was denied bail twice, told my release would put the administration of justice into disrepute, told I was too dangerous to be released into society. And according to one justice who compared my mischief charges to firearms charges, told I would be facing 10 years in prison. So here's this woman, never hurt anybody, had no criminal record, organized this convoy that was an embarrassment for our overreaching government, a government that was repudiated by our highest courts as being overreaching with their Emergencies Act. So that is just absolutely insane. So Melissa Tesserick is here. Tesserick, we just love you, but did you screw a black woman? What? Just as a pause has come to us all. Melissa, seek help. Seek help, Melissa. That's just insane. Anyway, so you got Tamara there, a charge of mischief, just absolutely nuts. And 10 years for a mischief trial. This, again, it's like it's not even on the level of stealing a condom from Kmart, okay? This is just absolutely nonsensical. But folks, I see we're coming up on the end of the hour. Blake's done a great job today. Again, give us a thumbs up. We're here every day, Monday to Friday at 12 noon. The one exception is Wednesday. We're here at 3 o'clock Wednesdays, all times Pacific. So be good to yourselves. And God bless Donald John Trump, the greatest president that I've ever seen, and certainly the greatest president of my life. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate being here. I do have a Patreon channel. You can support us on Patreon. It's non-political, but if you want to throw $5 my way, that is always welcome. There's the link on that. Okay, folks, that'll do it for Sue and myself and Blake. Thanks again. Bye for now. Poof. Poof.